In this episode, we will look at some bird photography from the second half of May, including a few new warblers and a deep dive into the life of the American white pelican. The magnolia warbler is one of the most striking warblers, but it likes to hang out in dense conifers during breeding, so it's tough to get a good photo. I had an easier time with the chestnut-sided warbler, which likes to hang out in shrubs and young trees. They are particularly fond of power line cuts, which is where I spotted this one. Unlike other woodpeckers, northern flickers migrate. They are in southern Minnesota year-round, but they are only in northern Minnesota in the summer. Their main diet is ants, so you will find them on the ground much more than other woodpeckers. Their main ant collector is their sticky tongue, which can extend 2 inches beyond their beak. Once again this year, we have bluebirds nesting in one of our houses. I have a few shots of the female during one of her short breaks from incubating. The mourning warbler is also difficult to photograph as it loves dense cover, specifically raspberry thickets. They can be heard singing churry 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 choo. The Baltimore oriole builds a sock-like hanging nest below a tree branch. It is woven together by the female from slender fibers. The construction is remarkable, so don't miss the opportunity to check one out. They nest in cottonwood and maple trees. The male's main job is to guard the nest site. They only defend a small area, so it's common to find other nesting pairs nearby. How much can a bald eagle carry? The internet says only about 4 pounds. They can catch fish with their talons just under the surface of the water, which gives them about a 30% success rate. The osprey can go a few feet underwater, so they have a 70% success rate. For this reason, the eagle is a much more opportunistic eater, eating whatever is available, including dead fish. This time of the year, they are bringing food back to the nest where they tear off pieces for their chicks. An American redstart constantly flicks its tail open and closed like a fan. The word start actually comes from an Old English word for tail. They have a flat bill surrounded by bristles similar to flycatchers, and consequently catch insects in the air more than any other warbler. Overgrown pastures are great places to look for dickcissel and bobolinks. The dickcissel is colored like a mini meadowlark with a V on their chest. I often see males singing on power lines. I tried several times to photograph the very unique bobolink doing the same thing, but didn't capture it until June, so watch for that in the next video. Now the focal point of this video. No, it's not the black tern, although they were very busy buzzing the water surface as we canoed out to the island on Pelican Lake. That's right, the American white pelican, one of North America's largest birds. They can either scoop fish out of the water using their huge bills or tip up to feed like a dabbling duck. There are less than 60 colonies where they breed, but clearly the appropriate named Pelican Lake is one of them. They often work as groups to feed, literally making a drive, forcing the fish into shallow waters and the waiting bills of the posted pelicans. Pelicans never carry food or clownfish in their bills. They always swallow before flying off. They love to steal food from each other. They even steal food that nearby nesting pelicans have disgorged for their young. They often steal food from the cormorants that nest and sometimes fish with them. American white pelican embryos squawk before hatching if conditions get too hot inside the egg. This was my first time ever seeing these newborn chicks. It takes them about 2 weeks to crawl, so they spend a lot of time seemingly getting squished by mom. By 3 weeks, they will walk, and once they can get to the water, they will swim. By 10 weeks, they will fly. 150 pounds of food will need to be provided for each of these chicks to get them to the point of providing for themselves. Seems like a lot, but much less than human children. They have to be the ugliest of all bird babies. Overheating is a problem for the pelican, so it usually faces away from the sun. And they flutter their bill pouch, which contains many blood vessels, to let heat escape. This trip also provided us some great pictures of the ruddy turnstone. Last time I saw this guy, he was in Louisiana. They look a lot like a calico cat, so he was hard to miss. If you remember from the Louisiana video, they are flippers, meaning they spend most of their time flipping rocks, shells, and other debris over to see if there's anything good to eat underneath. They can anchor to rocks with their grippy feet and curved toenails. Finally, I leave you with some of Lucas' finest yellow-headed blackbird photos. We are at about 270 species for 2024. May birding is in the books, and the first June birding video is well on the way, so we'll see you next time.